Chicken lang. Sarap.
Mga kagimik, mag-ready na sa isang fun at educational trip ngayong araw dahil matututunan natin ang iba't ibang paraan ng modernong pagtuturo gamit ang Google Educational Tools. Kaya naman sama na dito sa Trip Trip at Gimik! Sa makabagong panahon ngayon, marami na ang mga instrumentong ginagamit para mas maging epektibo ang pagtuturo. Kung noon ay sa blackboard nagsusulat ang mga guro at gumagamit pa sila ng Manila paper para sa kanilang mga presentation, ngayon, goodbye na sila sa PowerPoint at hello na sa PowerPoint. Mabigat na problema rin noon ang pagdadala sa mga naglalakihang textbooks. Pero ngayon sa tulong ng tablet at iPad ay naisisave na rito ang mga libro, kaya naman worry-free na ang mga estudyante sa mabibigat na libro. Ilan lamang ito mga kagimik sa inobasyong ginagamit para mas mapadali at maging mas epektibo ang pagtuturo at pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. At ngayon, kinilala na rin ito bilang isang sistema ng pagtuturo na tinatawag na digital learning. At para sa ating mga kagimik na interesado rito, tamang-tama ang ating episode ngayon dahil ipapakita natin ang kauna-unahang Google for Educators Conference na ginanap sa Noblis International School para mas palawakin pa ang kaalaman ng mga guro sa mga makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo. Sa okasyong ito ay nagsama-sama mga kagimik ang mga guro, school owners at mga kinatawan ng ilang piling kumpanya mula sa certified Google trainers para sa isang buong araw na pagsasanay sa digital learning system. Nakausap din natin mga kagimik ang headmaster ng Noblis at ibinahagi niya sa atin kung paano nagsimula ang pagkakaroon nila ng digital learning system gamit ang Google.
We sent several teachers last year to an introductory Google camp in Manila. They came back very excited about the potential. I arrived as headmaster in late May of this year, and they met with me talking about that camp. So at that point, we began to look at what 21st century teaching and learning was going to look like, and it was clear that what Google was offering would be an excellent match for what I wanted to do at the school as we expand digital learning.
At dahil dito, naisipan nilang isagawa ang kauna-unahang Google Conference sa Pampanga na tutulong daw sa pagpapalakas ng sistema ng kanilang pagtuturo.
This conference is meant to begin to transition our staff in school to complete 21st century digital learning communities. As we transition everything over the next 12 months, we will send the core of these teachers to specific Google educator training, which is a very intensive requirement, so that then we can host additional trainings here.
Kabilang din sa mga pagsasanay na ibinigay nila ang kaalaman sa paggamit ng internet applications, gaya ng paggawa ng e-classroom, e-portfolio at website. Umaasa sila na ang ganitong aktibidad ay makakatulong hindi lamang sa mga mag-aaral kung hindi maging sa mga guro.
Our hope is not only to provide the opportunities for our students and the students that join us, but also then to be able to provide training for the Philippine public school teachers at a cost that's reasonable in the Philippines.
Tunay nga namang mahalaga ang paggamit sa teknolohiya mga kagimik para mas mapadali at mas maging engaging ang pag-aaral ng mga estudyante. Pero sa panahon ngayon, marami na ring mga nilalaman ng internet na nakasasama sa mga batang makakakita nito. Kaya naman isa rin ito sa mga naging sentro ng conference.
Access to the web is a fundamental issue in education everywhere. And beyond the access to it, then it's the capacity to teach students the best uses of the web. So we teach internet and media literacy also, so that students can begin to discern that not everything on the web is true, and not everything is appropriate. So we talk about appropriate and inappropriate forums. There are some things that are appropriate in certain forums and some things that are not appropriate.
Marami pa kayong dapat abangan, kaya tutok lamang at magbabalik ang Trip Treat at Gimik! Sa ating pagpunta dito mga kagimik ay nakita natin ang iba't ibang pagsasanay na inihanda ng mga Google Trainer para sa mga kalahok. At kita naman sa mukha ng bawat isa ang interes na matutunan ang paggamit ng teknolohiya sa pagtuturo. Tamang-tama din sa Noblis International School ginanap ang pagtitipon dahil isa ito sa mga nanguna sa pagkakaroon ng digital learning system. Kaya naman kinausap din natin ang IT head dito at ipinaliwanag niya sa atin ang kasalukuyang sistemang ginagamit nila sa pagtuturo.
As part of the headmaster's plan, as part of the school plan also, we want the school to have a transition from a standalone setup, which is a manual setup, where the applications or programs that are used by the students in computers are installed on their devices. What we are trying to do is we want to utilize the cloud, where when we say cloud, cloud is on the online or the internet-based applications. And one of the cloud applications that we want to have a full feature is the Google.
Nabanggit din nila sa atin ang mga online application na ginagamit nila sa pagtuturo.
We are also using Google Apps in replacement to our standalone applications like Google Docs, Document, where you can do Word documents. We also use Google Presentation for PowerPoint. And we have this Google Spreadsheet for Excel. So if we will be able to make a transition out of it, all our process will be on a paperless setup.
At sa susunod na school year daw ay gagamit na rin sila ng Chromebooks. Dito sa halip ng mga libro ay laptop na ang gamit nila.
These are typical laptops where you can do the same thing that you can do on an ordinary laptop. The good thing about Chromebook is an online laptop, so it needs an internet connection. However, Google was able to create a solution to solve that problem, and from there you can use Chromebook offline, so you can work on your documents or your papers or offline, and when there's an internet, all these documents that you have created will automatically sync online and they will be available on the cloud.
Talaga namang naging napaka-informative ng pagpunta natin dito mga kagimik. Ako at maging ang mga participant ay madaming natutunan sa conference na ito, lalo na para mas mapaganda pa ang pagtuturo nila sa kanilang mga estudyante.
It will really help, especially that in public school, we are really experiencing a number of dropout students. So we have this, what we call the alternative learning system, and on the back of my mind, I can see that this would really help them because we have lots of students who are already working while studying. So I'm thinking after making my own site as a teacher, they can just visit it and we can do virtual teaching.
Ganito rin ang saloobin ni Ginoong Ryan Quezon kung saan nabanggit niya ang kahalagahan ng online education.
We're going online for education. It will come to the point that you don't have to go to a university to actually study. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. You just have to have a very good connection with the internet, and you should have of course, a laptop or a computer, and you can already take your studies. And since we're going through that trend, we decided to join this Google conference because it will really help us a lot, because it will also come to the point wherein people may not be able to go to our training center. They have to just enroll with us online.
Isa ang Nobles International School sa mga paaralan sa rehiyon na tumatangkilik sa makabagong teknolohiya sa kanilang pagtuturo. Sa katunayan, ginagamit na rin nila ang Google Apps sa kanilang mga class discussion, mga kagimik, gaya ng klaseng ito na inabutan natin sa ating muling pagbisita.
So I'm gonna find out how to say
Ang kagandahan dito, mga kagimik, madali nang matuturuan ng mga guro ang kanilang estudyante dahil mas madaling ma-access ang kanilang mga gawa.
stuff, and you can insert it right through the documents. They're real powerful.
Mas maengganyo rin ang mga mag-aaral dahil ginagamitan nila ito ng teknolohiya na gamay nila. Nagkaroon din tayo ng pagkakataon, mga kagimik, na makausap ang isa sa mga guro rito at ibinahagi niya sa atin ang karanasan sa paggamit ng Google Apps sa pagtuturo.
Basically, I use Google to empower the students to learn. It's a very interesting time. We live with Google. The students have access to the same information that I do. I can go and search on Google for information. The students can go search the same thing.
At ang ganitong paraan daw ng pagtuturo ay malaki ang naitutulong para mas madaling matuto ang mga estudyante.
It's a free app that Google offers. And then students, when they create their own work on a Google document or a Google form, they can import their work into their own website. Okay, and then their website has different layers and different pages that's recording their work. And so the idea is the student is going to build a portfolio of their work that they can carry with them through their whole high school career. So once they finish here, they have a portfolio of what they have created as students and as learners.
Nabanggit niya rin ang mga online application na kanyang ginagamit sa kanilang mga klase.
Right now, the main tools that we use are Google Drive, which has a document feature where they can create Word documents. And then we have Google Sites where they create their own website. Of course, we have Gmail, which is how we interact with students by email if it's outside of the classroom. Sometimes Google Forms. Those are the main three Google applications that we use right now. And then outside of Google, there's some other great sites that our school has licensed. For example, there's a website called IXL where students can get practice in grammar and mathematics depending on their grade level. There's a website called Quizlet where students can take online quizzes and use flashcards, online interactive flashcards to quiz themselves on concepts and definitions.
Dahil sa benepisyong na ibibigay nito sa kanya bilang isang guro at maging sa mga mag-aaral, ay talagang inirekomenda niya ang paggamit nito.
It's the 21st century, right? And the students now, they grew up with this technology. They started using it when they were 2, 3 years old. And so it's what they want, and it's the future. And Google is sending trainers out to schools to teach them how to use it, and it's very powerful. The students are engaged, and I think teachers must move in that direction.
Bukod pa sa pagtuturo gamit ang Google Apps, marami ring modernong kagamitan dito sa Nobles para mas maengganyo pa ang mga mag-aaral. Dahil dito, natitiyak din na mas malaki ang pagkakataon ng mga mag-aaral na mag-enjoy habang natututo. Meron din tayong nakausap, mga kagimik, na ilang mag-aaral dito at inalam natin mula sa kanila kung paano sila natutulungan ng digital learning.
Way back when I was 9th grade, like about 4 years ago, we were only using these standalone softwares such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel to do our essays, our presentations. And when Google Apps introduced the Google Apps, we started to use the Google Drive, which we can do our works online. Instead of using the Microsoft, as what I said earlier, we were using the Google document to write our essay, and then when we submit it on our teachers, we will just share it to them, and they can edit it online also, so we can both edit it.
Dagdag pa niya, mas gusto niya raw ang paggamit ng online applications dahil mas marami daw maaaring matutunan dito.
Of course, I would prefer the more advanced because the more advanced, we can search more, like we can maximize our resources. Like in the internet, we can, if we'll just search, everything will show up. And like in the textbook, only the content of that book is the one that we can receive, we can learn.
Aminado rin naman si Maria na nahirapan din siyang mag-adjust sa paggamit ng online apps sa pag-aaral mula sa paggamit ng textbooks. Pero sa katagalan ay nagkasanayan niya ito at nakita ang mga benepisyo nito.
For example, me, before I'm not really into the online world, so of course I have some difficulties on how to use the Google Docs before, but as I learned it, as I kept using it, it's very, very convenient, it's very useful, as what I said earlier, and it just saves everything. Like, you don't have to have a USB to print, to transfer or print your essay. You just have to share it to your teacher, and it's already.
Kaya naman ini-encourage rin niya ang iba pa nating mga kagimik na subukan ang paggamit sa application na ito.
I encourage everyone who has the resources, such as the internet, to use the Google apps because it's very helpful, it's very useful. You can do actually anything. You can use the Google Docs to write your essays, to use the Google Excels, use the Google Drawing if you have some project. When it comes in drawing or arts, it's actually almost everything is in there. Like every student needs is in there.
Nakausap din natin ng isang Korean student dito sa Nublis at isinare niya sa atin kung paano niya ginagamit ang Google sa kanyang pag-aaral.
Google Education, it's probably, for my opinion, I think it's very complicated. And as an English learner, I think it's probably easier because the translation is fast. You can find it on the internet really quick, rather than finding it on paper dictionary books.
Ikinumpara rin niya kung ano ang pagkakaiba ng pag-aaral gamit ang textbooks at mga online application.
First thing to explain, we don't need to carry the books, and it's really the textbooks are heavy and thick to carry in our bags, and the Google application helps us, and it's actually, we call it e-book, so we don't have to bring the book directly to our house. We just have to be online with the internet and don't have to be carrying those heavy books. Google documents that we make are auto-saved, and I think that's most best advantage.
Dahil sa laki na nagiging tulong nito sa kanya, pinayuhan niya pa ang ilan nating mga kagimik na imbes na maglaro ng mga online games, ay subukan ang paggamit sa Google Apps para sa kanilang pag-aaral. Kaya naman mga kagimik, kung naghahanap kayo ng iba pang paraan para mas maging fun at madali ang pag-aaral, bakit hindi niyo subukan ang paggamit ng online apps gaya ng ino-offer ng Google? Malay nyo, dito mahasa ang inyong galing at lumabas ang inyong inner genius. Mga kagimik, muli naman tayo nagsama-sama sa isang masaya at makabuluhang lakad. Kaya naman sama lamang kayo para maging updated sa mga nauusong lakad at treats dito sa ating rehiyon. Ako po si Aileen David, hanggang sa muli, dito lamang sa Chit Treat at Gimik!